So, this week is a bit packageless, mostly because this title down here arrived today, but I wasn't expecting it to arrive today. In fact, the only thing I was expecting to arrive today never shipped, because apparently Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere Part 2 got not exactly delisted on Amazon, but Amazon's like, fuck this, we're not going to list anymore, we're actually going to cancel your order. I'm like, okay, I'll go over to TRSI and order them and see how future Sentai titles work out. But I guess that's okay. I mean, first of all, we got these three items here. Let's where do we begin with this one? This is actually a hentai title, and if you can't tell from like the character design and some of that stuff, that's actually I think from the people who did the Tenchi stuff. I know from poking around, she's a space pirate that transforms kind of like Ryo Oki does between Cabot form and half human form thing. So very strange, but it's hentai, I guess, apparently. And I guess I wanted to double check that information, but whatever. I'm not going to open it up because we're not going to explore that too much. The front, it's okay. This is Yo Tokyo Fish Attack, which as far as I can tell is strange. And yeah, this is the title that arrived today. I think it released today, I don't know. This one seemed to kind of snuck under a little bit of radar, at least, well, pretty much every other Aniplex of America release I've seen mentioned in places. This one, I haven't, other than its listing on the right stuff, which is where it obviously shipped from. Oh, very strange looking. I don't know what to make of that one. And then we got a Juden-chan. I know that looks kind of like a B with the way the socket is, but I believe it's supposed to be a D. This one looks a bit perverted. Anyway, works. So it's a Media Blaster title. Let's see. I think the hentai has a dub, but these two do not. I have a back I can look at to make sure. Japanese with English subtitles, according to this. And then, of course, an Aniplex of America release. Japanese, English subtitles. Yeah. Good to double check that stuff. Technically, this is triple checking, but whatever. This one actually feels heavier than the other, so I wonder... Oh, there's actually 3 discs in it, so this is probably a bit more of a series than I might have thought. 16 and older. Where's the running time? 300 minutes? Oh, it's a 12 episode series. Okay, well, the artwork on the 3 discs are apparently the same, but you got your disc 1, your disc 2, and your disc 3. Nice. Alright, those are what's arrived, but I'm pretty sure most of y'all are probably more interested in this thing, which I don't know if the table will actually support. It's pretty heavy. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 3 or 4 pounds or something like that, if that's even heavy. I don't know. I'm trying to mentally compare it to the bag of Jolly Ranchers I bought a couple weeks back, which is heavy enough to kill a man. As you can see, width-wise, it's wider than 2 DVD cases. Thickness-wise, I'm not even going to begin because you got 3 books in it and you got nice artwork. This thing, it's got a nice, imposing presence. On the inside, I guess we're going to do this top to bottom. So, first of all, we've got the cover, which kind of features pre-time leap characters. You know, the series jumps forward into the future at some point. It's a little spoilerish, I guess, but I can't think of anything about that that's necessarily too bad to know. These 2 blue discs would be the movies, and then down here we've got music clips and extra video clips, which I wonder if that means it has a parallel works. But I haven't actually looked too closely at this because I went completely into nostalgia mode, and while in theory I could have been putting the Blu-rays in practice, I wasn't quite sure if I was going to watch it or what. So you got the post-time jump stuff, and as you can see, these books are kind of like the old Garden of Sinners Blu-ray box set. So once we get in here, pre-festival of the movie, extra movie, drama CD, drama CD, drama CD, drama CD, and then a music CD. I didn't immediately recognize the songs on it, so it's not like your immediate, oh yeah, that's definitely the music that I heard all the time that are associated with the bestest scenes ever or anything like that. Let's put that over there. Sorry, I didn't think about how I would have to handle this off camera. Next up, I actually really like this art book. It's the Gurren Lagann Complete Blu-ray Box Archives. And it's basically, there's a lot of information about, well, I don't know what this information is about. I haven't paid too close attention to the translation book. But then it has the DVD artwork. TV series DVD 9, and then another version of TV series DVD 9, and you know, kind of really neat stuff. It's got movie artwork, it's got parallel works, CDs, theme songs. So this actually has, I really like this, and then this is kind of most amusing. It's got the complete Blu-ray box art. So it's kind of self-referential in that way. And I have to admit, this was probably the funner of the things to flip through, since it was so very DVD nostalgic. Although I did also flip through this quite a bit, trying to remember what all's in here. And I think the translation booklet, oh duh, of course it is. The little translation booklet says the Nascent Era, which is what this book is called. It's right here off camera, the Nascent Era. And I guess to get this stuff out of the way, these also came with it. I don't know, just random inserts. Kind of curious what they're about, especially since this one has panty and stocking with garter belt on the back. That one has nothing. But I'm okay with not asking too many questions. I guess speaking of packaging, it was actually quite interesting because basically all of this stuff came in obviously the box for the box set, and then with that box set was contained within this box, which kind of nice because it's a box with a handle, and this box was the one that was surrounded with your stereotypical TRSI paper and then put into a box. So you had a box within a box within a box, essentially. That's more yo-dogging than yo-dog or something. But let's see. Oh yes, this one was actually really interesting to flip through. Because you kind of got some really rough sketches of characters here. They're like, they show some of the design process of characters, but they don't even really look like the characters we remember. I remember getting far enough, you can see some of the mecha designs they played with here. Just some really fascinating stuff in here. Different ideas for Gurren Lagann. Let's see. I think probably looking at some of the characters is interesting because this is kind of Nia-ish, but not very Nia at all. Let's see. Apparently Yoko didn't change too much, or something like that. Oh, there we go. My favorite character is actually Viral. And, yeah, it doesn't really look a whole lot like him. I guess this is a question of beastmen that look like this sort of thing. And there's a ton of random information. I'm kind of just guessing at what a lot of this stuff is. Ooh, look. There he is in his true glory. Lots of text and more drawings. Again, a lot of stuff. Oh, I see V-roll again. Yeah, this is just a neat set. It's hard to say if it's definitely worth $500, but for someone like me who likes to collect stuff, clearly it is. And like I said, it has a bit of weight to it, so I guess a bit of presence to it. Part of it is just that the set looks heavy, it feels heavy, and I haven't really fired up much of it because, again, once I got it, I went to the very easily accessible anime media server, or rather the streaming server that is kind of a step up to make it even easier to access specific content from series that are on the media server. So in this case, it was going back and forth between the movies a lot. And actually, well, I'm saying that because these 4 things are pretty much all the new this week's stuff. But yeah, it was very interesting going back and forth between scenes from the movie and scenes from the series. And I guess I kind of came to a realization on my feeling for the series versus the movies. Clearly, of course, the way the movies end are far more epic than the equivalent points in the series. Granted, that's 2 endings and 2 series, blah, blah, blah. But beyond that, I actually enjoy the series, the way the series approaches the topics pre-time skip, and then post-time skip, I think the second movie just kind of excels. It's spectacular. I like the way the second movie did a lot of stuff better. Maybe some information that wasn't revealed quite as well, but still both pretty good, or at least really easy to reminisce about. Other than that, I think that derailed. I think there was just a lot of derailing the stuff over the past week. I mean, I can at least remember, I went up to the family house. I had a company over, and I don't know, somehow we ended up not doing a whole lot. I think I recall watching, like, the first DVD, or rewatching the first DVD of Mushishi, but really I should have talked about that last week. If I did or didn't, I can't remember right now, then Mushishi's always good. But I did watch Momo Girl God of Death, and I'm not sure what I can say about it. It's not bad. I guess what it misses is kind of a grab. I think the best thing to kind of compare it to in that regard is Shigofumi. Where, I mean, there's some things about Shigofumi that aren't necessarily better than Momo the Girl God of Death, and they're not necessarily supposed to be the same thing, but when you're dealing with this concept of death interacting with reality, sometimes it's interesting when something makes you think, and I don't think Momo the Girl God of Death was necessarily something like that, so much as interesting little stories that could maybe make you ponder, not really think. Whereas, like with Shigofumi, I remember the bullying episode. I'm like, geez, that's a powerful episode. And that ignores the fact that Shigofumi has some rather spectacular music in it. I guess that's the other thing that Shigofumi would really have for Momo the Girl God of Death, is that just that music is awesome. In fact, I could probably access it right here. Let's see. Yeah. This song. Oh, I muted this computer probably for good reason, but Isekai and Shinsekai, really love those songs. I mean, I hear those, I'm like, that almost makes me feel like rewatching Shigofumi. But I kind of don't care for the overall story of Shigofumi. It was interesting, but somehow weak in how it came out. So instead, Shifumi is about like the scenes that individual episodes kind of brought out. I felt like Momo, the Girl God of Death, kind of missed a good grab like that. It wasn't really bad, like I said. It was just missing that grab. And it's really hard to say what it definitely could have done different because I don't know. I guess I just never thought about that sort of thing. Other than that, I guess I just didn't watch a whole lot of stuff. It's just really funny because last week I thought I was doing a really good job of bouncing back and watching stuff. In fact, I probably could have rewatched all of Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann instead of DBZ Abridged. Not that there's a problem with DBZ Abridged. Really loved rewatching that. It's just I could have watched that Blu-ray box set. I had it for the weekend. For some reason, I kind of didn't. Oh well. Let's see. Now, I didn't look too closely into details about what's coming out this month. Obviously, next week we do have an important release that's a non-anime release, but for people in the anime community, they're probably aware of this series in particular, which is a US animation called Avatar: The Last Airbender. Well, next week, I guess, is finally the release of the first season of The Legend of Korra. Good for me, because I've not watched it. I don't keep up with watching stuff online, and by the time I was told, oh yeah, you can go do this, it was kind of hard to find the first episode on a legitimate streaming site. At that point, I was like, whatever, I'll get to it later. And then I think the week after that, we get either Naruto or One Piece, and the week after that, we get One Piece. Since I'm going to watch all three of those things with my friends, that basically means we're going to have a nice, busy month in that regard. You'd think that now that I'm on the other side of the Gurren Lagann Blu-ray box set, that I'm going to be taking it, resuming the buying of anime stuff, especially since, like I said, this week only 2 things are supposed to arrive, and I think next week is similarly skimpy. I think only 2 things. But I lost track of all the NIS and Aniplex of America releases. I guess there were supposed to be 2 NIS releases today, and neither of them have shipped as of right now, which is apparently 1 a.m. Oh my god, I'm recording this thing. I assume that means there's still a chance they will probably arrive by next week, unless there's something causing a massive shortage of anime that I should be worried about. And I got the impression there could be 1 or 2 Aniplex releases this month. So, there's a bunch of unknowns where I just haven't been keeping track of those, because they tend to be weird. With the Amazon purchases, I can safely order an entire week's worth of stuff, and if something gets delayed, Amazon ships the rest of the order, whereas Right Stuff doesn't always do that. Sometimes they seem to, sometimes they don't. And I'd rather not play chance games with that, since when I first started buying anime online, I was doing that for a company that kind of had that same policy. They'd only ship if they had the complete order. And a couple months worth of anime started backing up. And I wasn't buying as much then as I was now, but it was still a lot of stuff backed up. And then that company ended up being sued for selling bootlegs, and they went out of business, and then I lost $700. So it's a painfully expensive lesson, but the lesson is don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I kind of do that with the TRSI releases, because their shipments tend to be closer to eggs in one basket-y, and that you pay for your shipping for the order, and I think they try and get the whole order together or something. So I try to only group together relevant orders. I think I mentioned this before. Maybe I just mentioned this to random people, but I pre-ordered all the Aniplex Online stuff and the NIS. Sorry, not Aniplex Online, Aniplex of America, and all the NIS stuff. I pre-ordered everything that I saw in advance so that I didn't have to worry about it. I would be getting emails every week or every other week, I guess, about everything I've pre-ordered, but that's okay to deal with. It's better than just dealing with it every month, I guess. So the basic idea is there's a bunch of different separate orders. I don't have one order keeping track of all my TRSI releases, and since they'll pretty much ship it once they get it in stock, it means that I also don't know when they're going to ship. Unlike the Amazon orders, which tend to be a whole lot more predictable, and again, I can do the entire week in one go, and I can say, okay, I paid this much. I can look at 4 or 5 orders and see how much I ordered in a single month really quickly, and I have a pretty good idea of how to check my financials. Since I'm going into a more TRSI heavy release schedule because of the dense Aniplex of America wallet rape, basically I'm playing that carefully. I've also got a couple of other financial things, a couple of cheap car repairs. I'd like to do dental work, and I'm playing things carefully. Chances are I could probably be padding the anime, but the other nice thing is I could come out the other end of this and get a couple of other things I've been waiting to have a sizable not a part of. I can't think of the right word to describe it, so whatever. It's all crazy, but the long story short is I'm probably going to continue playing it kind of carefully since I don't know what situation I dug myself in, so I won't be doing padding of my anime updates probably for this month. We'll have to see for the next couple of months. Maybe, maybe not. In fact, I guess that's a good reason to not, but yeah. And I can't think of any particularly noteworthy releases upcoming to talk about other than this interesting thing where the first half of this month appears pathetic, but the second half looks pretty healthy. So, that's the way this month is apparently going to turn out. Y'all, have a nice week. Guess Independence Day is Thursday, so for those of you who celebrate American Independence Day, which is July 4th, y'all have a nice Independence Day and just a nice week.